Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that the moment Iran launches a drone, in some strategic calculations the mission is already considered a success? It may sound surprising, but in modern warfare, this idea is becoming increasingly relevant. In today's video, we will explore how cheap drones and expensive defense systems are reshaping military strategy in the Middle East, and why tensions between Iran and Israel are becoming more complex than ever before. Let's start with the drone strategy. Iran has developed a large fleet of relatively low-cost unmanned aerial vehicles, often referred to as drones. These drones are much cheaper to produce compared to the advanced missiles and defense systems used to stop them. If a drone manages to reach its intended target, the mission is clearly successful. But here's the interesting part. Even if the drone gets destroyed before reaching its target, the attacker may still achieve a strategic advantage. Why? Because intercepting these drones often requires extremely expensive defense systems. Imagine a scenario where a small drone is detected approaching a country's airspace. First, the Air Force might scramble fighter jets, which already cost thousands of dollars in fuel and operational expenses. Then the jet may fire an air-to-air missile that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And all of that just to destroy a drone that may only cost a few $1,000s to build. Military analysts often describe this as a form of economic warfare, where the goal is to force the opponent to spend far more resources defending against relatively cheap threats. Another major concern in the region involves energy infrastructure. The Middle East is home to some of the world's most important oil facilities, ports, and energy routes. Any attack on oil facilities could have consequences far beyond the region itself. Global oil prices, international shipping routes, and energy markets could all be affected. Experts warn that energy infrastructure is increasingly becoming a strategic pressure point in regional conflicts. But oil is not the only vulnerable resource. There is another critical issue that receives far less attention: water security. Many countries in the Gulf region have vast oil reserves, but they lack natural sources of fresh drinking water. To survive, these nations depend heavily on desalination plants, which convert seawater into drinkable water. These facilities are essential for millions of people. If such infrastructure were ever disrupted during a conflict, it could quickly turn into a humanitarian crisis, affecting water supplies for entire cities. As tensions between regional powers continue to rise, military strategies are evolving rapidly. Drones, cyber warfare, economic pressure, and infrastructure targeting are all becoming part of modern conflict. The battlefield is no longer limited to tanks and soldiers. Instead, it now includes technology, economics, and critical infrastructure. And that makes today's conflicts far more complicated than ever before. The situation in the Middle East remains highly sensitive, and developments can change quickly. Understanding the strategies behind modern warfare helps us better understand how global security and regional stability may be affected. If you want more map animations, geopolitical analysis, and updates on global conflicts, make sure to follow and subscribe to the channel. Stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.